What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. Let's take a look today at some recent sales for loose complete figures. I think I've got a few vehicles, things like that in here, last 17. Pretty interesting price disparities across some of these, but I did find some good deals for a few of my Patreons, and I included a number of those in here. And as always, thanks to my Patreons, you guys allow this channel to happen. One final reminder also, my email is at actionfiguregrader@gmail.com. If you have a collection to sell, loose graded, mint on card vehicles, whatever you got, if you have a collection and you're looking to sell it away from eBay, hassle-free, I've had a number of subscribers do that. They've been very, very happy, and I can put you in touch with trusted buyers. actionfiguregrader@gmail.com. All right, I think I've got 3 different blue snaggletooths that all sold. And I just thought that the price disparity on some of these was interesting. First of all, we've got one that was probably like, I'd say like a 75, maybe a 70 plus. Obvious wear to the boots. And then the big thing to look out for on the blue snags, if you're looking for one, beyond the wear to the boots and the belt buckle, the hands, obviously, but it's really the discoloration to the torso. That's the first thing to look for. And in general, that seems to be a common problem. You can really see it here on this one. It turns out kind of a weird kind of blue-green versus a standard blue for the limbs. So if you can find one that doesn't have that discoloration, you're going to pay up for it. So this one did have the discoloration. It sold for $430. This one didn't really have much discoloration whatsoever. But it had some wear to the boots. It did have some wear to the hands and the belt buckle. But the color of the torso was pretty good. It was pretty close. It might be slightly darker, but it was much better shape than the first one. This one was listed for $500. The best offer on that one was $425. Now, if you compare it to this one, I would say that this one sold for $430. This one sold for $425. This one was the better deal, right? Because at least in these photos, it's hard to know exactly, but this one appears to have less discoloration to the torso, and you could argue the boots are probably about the same, if not slightly better condition. And then finally we had this one. This is one I believe I sent to my Patreon supporters. My Patreon supporters get like buy it now alerts, and I sent this one. I said, hey, assuming it's not repro or anything like that, this one looks like a pretty good deal. And it did have some discoloration, which I said it was very slight. I still think this one would get an 80, assuming all that paint's good and everything. This seller had, 8,500 sales, 100% positive feedback, so I felt comfortable sending this one to him. But I think this would get an 80 all day long in terms of grading. I mean, look how beautiful those boots are. The belt buckle's really good. Just slight discoloration to the torso. That one was listed for $550. The best offer accepted on that one was $500. So I think that was a good buy. Assuming everything was legit on all of these. $500, $425 on that one, and then $430 on this one. So I think, honestly, that one's probably the best deal, just given the condition of it. Next up, we had that SWD mail-away baggie for Boba Fett. I had that in What to Buy. It did sell very shortly thereafter, and it was listed for $525. The best offer accepted on that one was, $475. $475 was the best offer accepted. I think that's a good buy. I mean, I would have paid that all day long, and I'll be honest with you, I was really tempted on that one, just because I would like to have a baggie for Boba Fett. It's one of those characters that I don't have a baggie for, and with prices down right now, I feel like that would be a good one to pick up and then get it graded. But anyway, that one did sell $475. And then we're going to dig into this seller, Tulsa Toys Collectibles. I've never bought from this seller before, but he or she listed a bunch of really nice loose complete figures, and my Patreon supporters snapped them all up. I sent these out one morning, and they were sold within 10 seconds. So congrats to those of you that picked them up. The first is a blonde-haired Luke Bespin, Hong Kong. That one sold for $65. I think that would grade very highly. Probably, I said it was an 80 or an 80 plus. This one, when I sent it out to my Patreon supporters, I was like, I don't know if this is the mustard hair or the brown hair, but at this price, it doesn't really matter. I think it's a good buy no matter what it is. So I think it's the mustard hair. It looks like the mustard hair to me, but it could be the brown hair. It could be the lighting. Another nice near mint plus condition figure, and that one was also $65. So I thought that was a bargain. And then this one was the Paleface Taiwan Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, and this is a tough variant to track down. You don't see this one graded very often, but this is the Paleface Taiwan. That one sold for $100. I mean, that's a really good buy for a loose complete Luke Jedi. And then you compare it to this one, which had some hand rubs, but this one is the harder to find Taiwan molded face. The molded face is easily of the standard Hong Kongs and Taiwans and no COOs. If you're talking about green lightsabers, the molded face is the most desirable. Now, this one did have some hand rubs, so that's why the price is what it was. It was $209.96. Snap Cape, molded face. But that's a variant that I don't have. And speaking of, goal lists for 2024, that's one I do have. It's the Hollow Cheeks Tusken Raider, and then the molded face Luke Jedi would be another one I'd like to pick up in high grade. So that one did sell for $210. And then the Taiwan Paleface sold for $100, which I thought was a really good deal. Next up, I just included these because it was at auction, and there's just something about this photo. I just love looking at all of the bounty hunters lined up like this, like they're on the deck of the Executor, and you got Darth Vader saying, "Bring them alive, not dead," and you got all the bounty hunters there, and they're in varying degrees of condition, but these sold in an auction for $132.50. I just thought I'd show that photo. I just think it looks really cool having all of them lined up like that. Next up, we had that Orange Cape Hong Kong squid head, and I said don't overpay too much for it in a what to buy video, but it seems like you guys decided to overpay for it. So I don't know who bought it, but I said 160, maybe 140 to 160 is about what they go for on Facebook. Well, this one sold for $207.50. And again, it's a degraded brown cape, but because the degradation is so uniform that people love to collect these. And that price reflects that. $207.50, kind of an orangish cape to it for the squid head Hong Kong variation. But it does look really nice. I'll say that. To me, $207.50. I've spent $200 on worse things, believe me. So I think that's a really cool figure. Next up is the Imperial Shuttle, 100% complete with the box. That one sold for $750. It looks like it maybe has some slight yellowing to the wings, which is a common defect. I mean, that's just pretty common for the Imperial Shuttle, that it starts to yellow slightly. It could just be the lighting, but it does look like it's yellowed a little bit. But that box is in pretty good shape there, and $750 took that home. Pretty good buy there. Next up, I've got some Last 17. We've got the General Lando with the card back, complete with the Black Palace blaster. That one sold for $250 plus $5 shipping. And then this one sold in a buy it now for $310, and it included the coin, although this one looked to be in super mint condition. $310, I mean, I've seen some mint on card examples for General Lando in good shape as well, go for about that price. So I don't think you need to spend $310 for a loose complete Lando, although it did look really nice. Admittedly, it looked basically unused, but I wouldn't spend that much if I were you. I think you can probably get a better deal waiting for an auction. That one sold for $250, and then that one for $310. We had the EV99. This one sold in an auction for $210.50 plus $8 shipping. It looked pretty clean, but this is a tough one for me to grade. It's just really hard to tell when you got defects on that one, but no breakage on the limbs, which is the most common problem. So pretty good deal, $210.50 on that one. Luke Battle Poncho, another Last 17 with the coin. That one sold for $300. Again, I don't know how fair that price is. That seems like it might be a little high, just given some of the wear issues on his face there. But I think you can probably get that one cheaper as well if you wait for an auction. Yak Faces is one of those, especially, that you need to wait for an auction because they continue to be really expensive. And this one sold in a buy it now for 400 pounds, which is $500. And it did have some wear to the hand there, as well as on the feet. You got to look at the tips of his boots and on the hands especially. And then as we talk about, the torso could also discolor, although that one looks pretty good. But this one did have some wear, probably about a 75 grade. For $500. And then this one sold in a buy it now situation for $875. That is a crazy number. That's way too high. Do not pay $875. You can get one of these AFA 85 graded for $875. So I think loose complete, I would not spend more than $600 to $650 maybe. And even that seems really high to me. But this one admittedly looked very, very clean. But $875 is too much. I don't care how clean it is. If it's ungraded, $875, I wouldn't spend that much. But it was a very nice figure, though. It looks super clean. Look how, look at the torso on this one and how it matches the sleeves versus some of these that have a little bit more yellowing. And again, it could be lighting, but $875 on that one. Next up, we've got the Sand Skimmer Mini Rig. That one's always very pricey. This one did sell for $312. And did I miss something? When did Boba Fett's Slave One be renamed the Fire Spray? Maybe I remembered it and then I forgot, and now I'm seeing it again. But I don't remember it being named the Fire Spray. That's just me. But I vaguely remember it now that I say it out loud, that maybe that came out at some point. But why were they renaming it? I don't know. But this is a vintage Fire Spray, apparently. Slave One and unused. Oh, this was used contents, actually. This one had the insert, the instructions, a used sticker sheet, and then obviously the Hunt and Carbonite in the catalog. So this one was used, and it sold for $367, which is not a terrible deal, really. Just given that you get 100% complete. I don't think that's a terrible buy at all. Next up, this is a very rare one, and this is an unused contents sonic controlled land speeder. And this one did sell for $850. This one would be a good one to get qualified graded, because this one is very tough to track down. You can see that the remote control there is still inside the baggie. It still has the zip ties around the remote control land speeder. Very, very rare item, and even qualified in high grade, these go for big money, big money. So $850 took that one home. I would have shown that one in a what to buy video if I had seen it, but this one I just found after the fact. But that's a really rare item. Don't see that one very often. And then to finish things off, I've got two unused contents 12-inch series figures. We've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi. You can see here that it's unused content still attached to the cardboard insert. That one sold in an auction for $355 plus $6 shipping. That's a pretty good deal there for basically a near mint plus condition Obi-Wan. And then the same seller also had the Stormtrooper that was unused contents. Well, this one maybe had been used contents. It still looked really clean, though. It wasn't attached to the backer board or anything like that. But that one was a very clean-looking example of the 12-inch Stormtrooper. That one just tends to yellow and scuff up really easily. So very nice-looking figure there. And that one did sell for $320 on 19 bids plus $6 shipping. So anyway, just kind of a general mishmash of different loose complete items and mini rigs and vehicles and things like that. I try to cover these once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to give you guys an idea of what's selling out there for those of you that maybe aren't into grading like I am. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.